Joining us now, Republican Congressman Jodey Arrington. He's the chairman of the Budget Committee and driving this legislation, and now it could have an answer for the SAVE Act, and we didn't even mention that there. And even, I think even Speaker Johnson said that that's something that he'd look into, and I asked him one the other day, would that pass muster for what's allowed in a reconciliation? Is there some way to make that somehow pertaining to taxation, or what is the bird rule? How does it has to get a bird bath or something?
Well, the bird compliance central to that is a material budget impact. So it can't be primarily policy. It has to be primarily budget in nature, and you can do that by an incentive grant program as opposed to a federal mandate, which is what the SAVE Act would be, which would require the 60 vote threshold in the Senate. So it's not as good as a preemptive federal statute, for sure, just to be clear, but providing incentive monies to states in support of them implementing the component parts, like the common sense safeguard of voter ID and other pieces, cleaning up the voter roll. All of that can be put into a grant program. I think Representative Stiles has already introduced that bill. So yes, safeguarding elections along with stopping fraud and supporting our troops and dealing with the residual unaffordability that is hung over from the Biden administration's failed policies are all wrapped up in a Reconciliation 3.0. And I think it's our only viable legislative option now, between now and November, to actually execute on these things.
That's very interesting and clears up a lot of things, Mr. Chairman. I think my favorite thing is in mainstream media when I hear that voter restriction legislation, because apparently we want to restrict the voting to U.S. citizens somehow. And that's just one side just is not ready for that, are they? To actually restrict the voting to people that are actually U.S. citizens? How is that not already done? How is that not done already?
Well, there's a long list of radical ideas from the New Democrat Socialist Party, but that has to be on the top of the list of head-scratching ideas and notions that it would be offensive to have people other than American citizens voting in elections, and to have, again, a basic safeguard that you'd have to show your ID like you do to get on a plane or check in a hotel or buy a six-pack of beer. But that's where we are. That's the clear contrast between the two parties, which, again, Joe, is another reason I think we need the SAVE Act as part of reconciliation. I haven't seen many Democrats that didn't jump when you dangled some money in front of them. So there is the hope that if you put some incentive money, states led by Democrats might just engage in implementing these safeguards. But if they don't, it'll be just another way to delineate what Democrats stand for and what Republicans want to try to do to make this country safer, stronger, and more prosperous.
You need a scorecard to remember everything. Who was against reconciliation? Was Speaker Johnson against? Some people that we had on were full bore ahead, like you. And I think you want to do it before July 4th. There were some that don't want to do it. Go into what's behind either not wanting to do it or being reticent about it. And what are the chances that you do get something? It's not going to be before July 4th, obviously. Is it?
No, it won't be before July 4th, but I think we can get a lot of it done before the August recess. I think we should stay and work through the recess and get it all done. But there are, I think, 3 legislative weeks in July. Then we have the whole month of September. I think the people that have been most reticent, Joe, are some of our members in the most competitive districts, purple or even blue districts. Yeah. And but listen, the Democrats are going to continue to perpetuate the lie that we're cutting benefits from vulnerable Americans. We're stopping criminals from stealing hard-earned tax dollars that are jeopardizing the sustainability of these programs supporting vulnerable Americans. I mean, that's the focus. $500 billion, not my numbers, the Government Accountability Office, $500 billion in fraud. That's $1 million a minute every hour of every day for an entire year. That's what we're leaking in terms of our government and our treasurer being defrauded. It's Texas and California's budget combined. It's larger than the economies of over half the countries in the world.
The president the president's forcing the issue, obviously, with the housing thing. Did you disagree with what he did in terms of sort of using that as a cudgel to try to get people to move on this, I guess? Is that what it was?
Well, I think that I think the housing piece is going to move now after Speaker Johnson. I don't know how their conversation went in detail, but I think the president tweeted out, we need to stop this nonsense of holding up FISA, an important intelligence tool, or housing and other things. We can't hold up our own agenda, but I think the president was right to have the confidence we're going to move the SAVE Act. And I think the answer to that is reconciliation. I think the speaker had to explain to him that that's the only viable path, and it's a good path, but we need his support. So I think we're going to see things start to move pretty rapidly, and we're going to have to move expeditiously to get the 3.0 in a place where we're done by September. But it's more than doable. We're 90% of the way there in the House. And if the House does its job and unifies, then the Senate will follow.
Yeah, and there's just no stomach in either the House or the Senate for the filibuster, for getting. And you think the Democrats? You think that's the first thing they do, if they were ever to, if they did have the ability?
It's a great question. It's an interesting debate. I do agree with the president with regard to how important the SAVE Act is. But I've been doing this thing for now 10 years. And I've heard every year, if we don't do it, the Democrats will do it. And if the Democrats don't do it, the Republicans will do it. Here's the thing. The top priority of the Democrats, when they were in charge, was to codify the fraud-ridden COVID election laws. They wanted amnesty. They wanted a court pack. They wanted statehood for D.C. and Puerto Rico, minimum wage law. I go down the list. And, you know, you can probably change election laws as the pendulum swings from one party to the other. If you do away with the filibuster, here's what you can't change. You can't change statehood for Puerto Rico very easily, and you certainly can't undo amnesty. So I think that mutually assured destruction dynamic is real, and I think some senators believe that. So we have a vehicle, Joe. It's reconciliation. Let's all rally behind it, and let's finish the job the people sent us here to do with unified Republican leadership.
We'll see. All right, Chairman Arrington, thank you.